Behind the Iron Curtain of one of the most secretive nations on Earth lies a world the rest of us can only imagine, where reality is twisted, fear reigns, and truth is a forbidden concept. Welcome to North Korea, a country where survival means obedience, and questioning the regime could cost you your life. From the brutal control of its people to the horrifying truths hidden from the world, these are the 10 dark secrets of North Korea that the regime never wanted you to know. Stay with us as we uncover the grim reality behind one of the most dangerous regimes on the planet. Introduction. North Korea, also known as the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, DPRK, is a country with a history of severe human rights abuses, repression, and a secretive government. The Kim family envisions a world where North Korea is perceived as a stunning utopia, with its leaders regarded as divine gifts to humanity. However, the reality is far from this idyllic portrayal, as the nation's media is notoriously biased, painting an overly rosy picture of life within its borders. The country's stringent tourism regulations complicate matters further. While visitors can enter, they must already be in the region, making it challenging to obtain an accurate understanding of the true state of affairs in this reclusive, authoritarian regime. Fortunately, the courageous efforts of a few undercover journalists who managed to infiltrate the country, coupled with harrowing testimonies from defectors who escaped, are shedding light on the inner workings of this elaborate propaganda system, revealing a far more disturbing reality than the one the Kim family wishes to project. Number 1. Torture prisons. To this day, very few individuals have managed to flee from North Korea's notorious labor camps and survive to share their experiences. Among these rare escapees, only one person is known to have successfully escaped from Camp 14, a facility infamous for its extreme brutality and reserved for the most severe political offenders. This remarkable individual is Shin Dong-hyuk, whose harrowing journey is chronicled in the compelling book Escape from Camp 14. Shin's life began within the confines of the camp itself, as he was born there due to his uncle's defection to South Korea after abandoning his military post. At the age of 14, Shin's life took a tragic turn when his mother and brother attempted to escape from the camp. Their capture led to Shin being sent to a hidden torture facility, a grim prison within a prison. In his chilling account, he describes being suspended upside down by metal shackles around his ankles, while guards interrogated him about his family's escape plan. When this method failed to extract the information they sought, he was subjected to a horrifying ordeal, where he was hung in a U-shape over a vat of scorching coals, with a gaffing hook piercing his abdomen to prevent him from escaping. During this time, he was also confined to a small concrete cell, illuminated continuously, where the wounds on his back became infected as he listened to the anguished cries of fellow prisoners enduring similar fates. Shin endured this nightmarish existence for 7 long months, becoming the sole witness to the hidden horrors of that underground prison. His eventual release came after he inadvertently revealed his mother's escape plans to a guard, who reported the information without disclosing Shin's involvement. Following the verification of Shin's story, the guard mysteriously disappeared, and Shin was released just in time to witness the execution of his mother and brother. This tragic conclusion to his family's story underscores the brutal realities faced by those trapped within North Korea's oppressive regime, and Shin's account serves as a rare glimpse into the dark world of political imprisonment in the country. Number 2. Cannibalism. Between 1994 and 1998, North Korea experienced a devastating famine that had catastrophic effects on its population. The situation was exacerbated by severe flooding that rendered much of the agricultural land unproductive. Coupled with an overwhelming debt to the Soviet Union, which hindered the country's ability to import essential food supplies, the nation found itself in a dire state. As a result, entire cities descended into a grim reality marked by widespread starvation and despair, with estimates suggesting that around 3.5 million people, or more than 10% of the population, perished during this harrowing period. In the face of such extreme scarcity, the North Korean people resorted to desperate measures for survival. The military's strict enforcement of the Songun policy led to the confiscation of whatever limited food supplies remained, leaving families with little choice but to turn to unconventional sources for sustenance. Initially, many began to consume their pets, followed by insects like crickets and even tree bark. The situation deteriorated further, leading to the unthinkable. Some individuals resorted to cannibalism, particularly targeting vulnerable children who roamed train stations in search of help. A chilling saying emerged during this time: "Don't buy meat if you don't know where it came from," reflecting the pervasive fear and mistrust that gripped the populace. Accounts from defectors reveal the horrifying lengths to which people went to survive, including the abduction of homeless children. There are reports of individuals being drugged and taken home, with the grim implication of their fate left to the imagination. While there is at least one documented case of a man executed for cannibalism, it is believed that the fear of such acts was more widespread than the acts themselves. Nevertheless, numerous first-hand accounts of these atrocities lend a haunting credibility to the stories that emerged from this dark chapter in North Korean history, painting a picture of a society pushed to its limits by famine and desperation. Number 3. South Korean citizenship. The situation for North Korean defectors is dire, as countless individuals are attempting to escape their oppressive regime, yet they find themselves with limited options for refuge. China's stance on this issue is clear. They typically repatriate these defectors back to North Korea. Unfortunately, this often leads to severe consequences for those returned, including execution or long-term imprisonment in labor camps, where they endure grueling conditions that can be just as lethal as a death sentence. In stark contrast, South Korea offers a welcoming policy for North Korean defectors, providing them with a chance at a new life, free from the horrors they fled. South Korea's approach is notably compassionate, as it grants immediate citizenship to North Korean defectors who have not committed crimes. This includes access to job training programs and psychological support for those in need, ensuring that they can begin to rebuild their lives. Additionally, the government provides financial assistance, offering $800 a month to help them settle in. To further encourage the integration of these refugees into society, South Korea incentivizes businesses by providing a bonus of $1,800 for each North Korean defector they employ, fostering a sense of community and support for those who have endured so much. While North Korean defectors face numerous challenges, including the bureaucratic requirement for citizenship documentation, many find that these rules can be relaxed, especially in cases where individuals have escaped from labor camps. For those born in such camps, the absence of any official paperwork complicates matters further. Since the armistice in 1953, over 24,500 North Koreans have successfully resettled in South Korea, with the numbers steadily increasing since 2002, when the annual intake surpassed 1,000. However, the plight of those still in China is alarming, with estimates suggesting that up to 200,000 North Koreans are living in hiding, facing the constant threat of capture and the perilous journey that often leads to tragic outcomes. Number 4. Human feces fertilizer. The landscape of North Korea is predominantly characterized by its mountainous terrain and dry climate, which presents significant challenges for agriculture. The country experiences long, harsh winters and brief summers marked by monsoon rains. Approximately 80% of North Korea's land is situated on or near mountains, rendering it largely unsuitable for farming activities. This geographical reality has historically forced the nation to depend on external assistance for essential agricultural inputs, particularly fertilizers. In the past, the Soviet Union provided crucial fertilizer support until its dissolution, and for many years, South Korea contributed around 500,000 tons annually to help enhance food production. However, this support came to an abrupt halt in 2008 when South Korea ceased its fertilizer shipments, leaving North Korean farmers in a precarious situation. In response to this sudden loss of aid, they had to innovate and adapt by seeking alternative sources of fertilizer. One of the most unconventional solutions was the utilization of human waste, which became so prevalent that it was formalized into a government initiative. Factories were mandated to collect and supply their waste, with a quota set at 2 tons, highlighting the extent to which the agricultural sector had to pivot in the face of adversity. In recent years, the demand for human waste as a fertilizer has led to the emergence of illegal markets, where this once taboo substance is now treated as a valuable commodity. These underground shops have recognized the opportunity to profit from the scarcity of traditional fertilizers, further illustrating the lengths to which North Korean farmers must go to sustain their agricultural practices. This situation underscores the broader challenges faced by the country, where geographical limitations and political dynamics intertwine to create a complex landscape for food production and agricultural sustainability. Number 5. Three-caste system. In 1957, during a challenging period for Kim Il-sung as he sought to solidify his grip on North Korea, he initiated an extensive investigation into the country's population. This inquiry culminated in a radical transformation of the social structure, categorizing individuals into 3 distinct classes: hostiles, wavering, and core. These classifications were not determined by personal attributes, but were instead rooted in the historical background of each individual's family. Those whose ancestors had demonstrated loyalty to the regime were elevated to the core class, enjoying the most favorable opportunities and privileges, often becoming the politicians and influential figures closely tied to the government. The wavering class, positioned in the middle, represents individuals who are seen as neutral, lacking strong ties to either loyalty or dissent. While there exists a slim possibility for members of this group to ascend to the core class, it is far more common for individuals to experience a downward shift within the social hierarchy. This fluidity in status reflects the precarious nature of life in North Korea, where the political climate can drastically alter one's standing based on family history rather than personal merit or actions. On the other end of the spectrum are the hostiles, individuals marked by their family's past associations with perceived threats to the state, such as Christianity or land ownership. Kim Il-sung viewed these individuals as the most significant danger to his regime, leading to severe repercussions for them and their descendants. They are systematically denied access to education, prohibited from residing in or near the capital city of Pyongyang, and are often relegated to lives of extreme poverty. This rigid class system not only reflects the political landscape of the time, but also underscores the deep-seated social divisions that continue to affect North Korean society. Number 6. Electricity. Pyongyang, the capital of North Korea, presents itself as a carefully curated paradise, primarily accessible to the nation's elite. The city is heavily guarded, with armed personnel stationed at various points to prevent the lower classes from entering. While the residents of Pyongyang enjoy a lifestyle that could be described as luxurious, at least by North Korean standards, this luxury is relative. Although they may have access to better resources than the rest of the country, many still face food shortages and other basic needs that remain unfulfilled. Despite being home to around 3 million privileged citizens, life in Pyongyang is not without its challenges. The electricity supply is notoriously limited, often providing only an hour or 2 of power each day. During the harsh winter months, the situation can become even more dire, with power outages leaving residents to contend with frigid temperatures that can plummet below -17.8 degrees Celsius, 0 degrees Fahrenheit. This lack of reliable electricity is a stark contrast to the expectations of a city that is meant to symbolize the pinnacle of North Korean achievement. The disparity between Pyongyang and the rest of the country is further highlighted when considering the living conditions outside the capital. Most homes in rural areas lack electricity altogether, leaving many without even the basic comforts that the elite in Pyongyang experience. A nighttime satellite image starkly illustrates this divide, with the dark expanse of North Korea clearly visible between the bright lights of neighboring China and South Korea. This visual representation serves as a powerful reminder of the stark realities faced by the majority of the North Korean population, contrasting sharply with the illusion of prosperity that Pyongyang attempts to project. Number 7. Arms dealing. Beyond the issue of insurance fraud, the United Nations has raised serious concerns about North Korea's involvement in the illicit trade of weapons and nuclear technology, often selling these dangerous goods to the highest bidders, which predominantly includes nations in Africa and the Middle East. A notable incident occurred in 2012 when the UN intercepted a North Korean shipment destined for Syria, which was found to contain nearly 450 graphite cylinders intended for ballistic missile production. This was not an isolated case. In 2009, two separate shipments were also seized, one bound for Iran that included 35 tons of missile components, and another heading to the Republic of Congo that was loaded with Soviet-era tanks. Despite the UN sanctions prohibiting North Korea from engaging in the trade of missile technology, the regime has defiantly claimed that these sanctions are themselves unlawful, asserting their right to conduct business as they see fit. This blatant disregard for international law has allowed North Korea's arms trade to flourish, showing no signs of abating. The government appears to prioritize this illicit revenue stream, which is crucial for its financial survival, over the welfare of its citizens, who continue to suffer from food shortages and economic hardship. According to journalist Blaine Harden from The Washington Post, a significant portion of the profits generated from these arms deals does not benefit the North Korean populace, but instead enriches Kim Jong Un personally. These troubling dynamic highlights the stark contrast between the regime's priorities and the dire needs of its people. As the government continues to engage in these illegal activities, the implications for regional and global security remain profound, raising urgent questions about the effectiveness of international sanctions and the future of diplomatic efforts aimed at curbing North Korea's aggressive arms proliferation. Number 8. Insurance fraud. The North Korean economy is facing a dire situation, characterized by a complete breakdown in various critical areas. The country has largely isolated itself from global trade, resulting in a near-total absence of exports. This isolation is compounded by the government's inability to adequately provide food for its own citizens, which numbers around 25 million. With an average GDP per capita of approximately $500, the economic disparity is stark when compared to nations like the United States, where the figure is around $50,000. This economic struggle has led the regime to seek alternative, often illicit, means to generate revenue. In an effort to bolster its failing economy, North Korea has resorted to engaging in international criminal activities, one of the most notorious being global insurance fraud. This scheme has allowed the regime to defraud Western insurance companies out of hundreds of millions of dollars. The situation came to light in 2009 when it was revealed that the North Korean government had been taking out substantial insurance policies on various properties and equipment, only to later claim that these assets had been destroyed under dubious circumstances. Such actions highlight the lengths to which the regime will go to secure financial resources. A notable case involved a $58 million insurance policy related to an alleged helicopter crash, which drew the attention of several major insurance firms, including Lloyd's of London, in 2005. When the matter was brought before North Korea's state-run courts, they ruled in favor of the government, declaring the claim legitimate. The insurance companies found themselves in a difficult position, as their contracts were governed by North Korean law, which often operates in a manner that is unpredictable and heavily biased. Ultimately, they chose to settle, illustrating the challenges faced by foreign entities when dealing with North Korea's opaque legal system. Number 9. 3 generations of punishment. In North Korea, the legal system operates under a harsh principle known as the 3 generations of punishment. This means that if an individual is found guilty of a crime, not only do they face consequences, but their descendants, children and grandchildren, also suffer the repercussions of that wrongdoing. For instance, if a person's grandfather committed an offense, the individual may find themselves enduring the same severe penalties, often resulting in a lifetime spent in oppressive prison camps. This draconian policy creates a climate of fear and compliance, as families are acutely aware that their actions can have dire consequences for future generations. Among the most serious crimes in North Korea is the act of attempting to flee the country, which can lead to immediate execution or a lengthy sentence in a labor camp. The regime views such actions as a direct threat to its authority and stability. Additionally, even the slightest criticism of the government is treated as treason, with severe penalties imposed on those who dare to voice dissent. The oppressive atmosphere stifles any form of free expression, leaving citizens in a constant state of anxiety about their safety and the safety of their loved ones. The situation is further complicated by the recent influx of smuggled materials from China, including illegal DVDs of Western films. These contraband items have become a source of fascination for many North Koreans, who are eager to learn about cultures beyond their own. However, the North Korean National Security Agency has responded with aggressive crackdowns, conducting raids in northern villages. They often cut off electricity to entire communities before storming homes to inspect DVD players for forbidden content. This invasive approach underscores the regime's determination to maintain control over information and suppress any influences that might challenge its narrative. Number 10. Labor camps. North Korea is known to have approximately 16 labor camps, which are extensive facilities located throughout its rugged mountainous regions. These camps are heavily fortified, surrounded by electrified barbed wire fences that serve to deter any attempts at escape. It is estimated that around 200,000 individuals are incarcerated in these facilities at any given moment, enduring harsh conditions that are reminiscent of the infamous Gulag system in Soviet Russia. The environment within these prison camps is characterized by forced labor, where inmates are subjected to grueling work under severe conditions. The punishments for even minor infractions can be extraordinarily harsh, with individuals facing execution for offenses as trivial as pilfering a few grains of corn. This brutal system reflects a regime that prioritizes control and punishment over rehabilitation or justice, creating an atmosphere of fear and despair among the prisoners. The population of these camps is diverse, comprising defectors, individuals labeled as traitors, and former politicians who have fallen out of favor with the ruling government. The criteria for imprisonment can be alarmingly broad, making it relatively easy for someone to find themselves in such dire circumstances. This reality underscores the oppressive nature of the North Korean regime, where dissent is not tolerated, and the consequences of even the slightest misstep can be catastrophic. And those were just some of the dark secrets lurking behind North Korea's borders. But the truth is, there's always more beneath the surface. What other hidden truths are waiting to be uncovered? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and if you want to dive deeper into the shadows, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Turn on notifications so you never miss out on more eye-opening videos. Until next time, stay curious and stay safe.